Shortly before Poland was overwhelmed by Germany's blitzkrieg of September 1939, a genius young Austrian designer sat in a light and airy drawing office at the research center of the Arado Flugzeugwerk on the eastern fringe of Brandenburg Airfield. The man was Emil Eckstein. The project on his board was the E-300, a tiny single-engined float plane. It was to be capable of being folded, packed into a tube and stowed aboard a submarine until required for reconnaissance purposes. Eckstein would go on to design the revolutionary 234 jet bomber, but his first project, which was officially designated AR-231, is arguably just as fascinating and worthy of historical study. The Kreigsmarine's requirement was for a scouting seaplane to be carried by the forthcoming Type 11B cruiser submarines. To be useful, it needed to be able to carry its pilot up to 10,000 feet of altitude and have an endurance of 3.5 hours. Weapons weren't required. The Type 11 was an artillery U-boat, carrying two 128mm guns and intended to take out escorts from long range. 4 of them were laid down in 1939. Although big at 4,300 tons, space aboard the boat was very tight, so the AR-231 had to be able to fit into a metal travel cylinder only 2 meters in diameter. One of these cylinders was mounted vertically just ahead of the conning tower, like a modern-day missile tube. Furthermore, it had to be able to unfold and pack down rapidly, so that the submarine was not excessively exposed on the surface while launching and recovering the aircraft. It was to be lowered into the water and retrieved from it using a folding crane on the submarine's deck. Obviously, this placed numerous restrictions on the aircraft, and it presented a considerable challenge for Eckstein. The first challenge was to find a suitable power plant. To this end, the Hirth Motor Company modified their relatively light 4-cylinder, 4-litre HM500 inline engine. The resultant air-cooled 6-litre inline 6-cylinder developed 158 horsepower on takeoff and 140 when cruising. Although those aren't spectacular numbers, the HM501 weighed only 155 kilos. It was very reliable, and it had excellent fuel efficiency while also being very simple to maintain. Later examples of the 231 were equipped with the mildly upgraded H506, which was functionally identical. It drove a 2-bladed propeller in this installation. The structure around the engine was simple, but it did have one unique feature. To facilitate wing folding, the small wing center section was braced above the fuselage at an angle so that the root of the starboard mainplane was lower than that of the port mainplane, permitting the latter to swing over the former when those swiveled on the rear spar for storage aboard the submarine. One wing is thus slightly higher than the other. Twin floats provided buoyancy, and a single fin with a rather high-mounted horizontal surface rounded out the package. Wingspan was 33 feet 4 inches. The all-metal fuselage was 25 feet 7 inches long, and the whole package weighed just 833 kilograms empty and 1,050 kilograms fully loaded. By way of comparison, the AR-196, which was the standard reconnaissance seaplane aboard Kreigsmarine capital ships at the time, was over 40 feet long with a 36-foot wingspan, and it weighed 3,000 kilos empty. As a result of the difficult requirements, development was quite slow. 4 examples were eventually delivered to the test center in May 1941, and testing began. Despite its lightweight construction and its compromises, testing actually went quite well. Of particular merit was that it took just 6 minutes to extract the aircraft from its tube and prepare it for flight. Flight characteristics were, however, somewhat less impressive. End plates were added to the short horizontal stabilizer to improve stability. The shapes of the floats also required revision. But the main finding was that the compact engine didn't deliver enough power to reliably get the AR-231 airborne. The only real option was to reduce the standard fuel load to 3/4 of a tank, saving a vital 50 kilograms and enabling the aircraft to take off at the cost of nearly an hour of endurance. In the meantime, the Kreigsmarine had chosen to cease development of the Type 11B, so there was no point in continuing development of the AR-231 either. 2 pre-production examples had already been assembled, and there seemed little point in wasting them, though. At about the same time as the AR-231 trials were beginning, The former liner Cairo was taken in hand at the shipyards in Rotterdam for conversion into a merchant raider. Renamed Stier, or Bull in English, the process was completed at Stettin. In late May 1942, she set sail into the Atlantic, aiming to pick off ships around the African coast. Although her main weapons were half a dozen 5.9-inch guns, she also carried the two Arados as spotters. Her voyage would actually be the last one made by a German raider. After she broke out, her captain sent up an Arado to find him in a ship to attack on June the 3rd. The flight was uneventful, but then one of the struts broke on landing and it put the aircraft out of action. Stier carried on regardless. On the same day, she sank the freighter Gemstone, apparently not as a result of action by the Arado, then the 11,000-ton tanker Stanvac Calcutta on the 6th. Then on the 6th of August, she met the 7,000-ton steamer Dalhousie and sank her. At this point, Stier's captain decided to send up the Arados to do some spotting for more targets again. Having been apparently unable to launch them because of a heavy sea, he then just decided to give up on the whole idea. On the 27th of September, Stier rendezvoused with the blockade runner Tannenfels, itself returning from Yokohama heavily loaded with rubber, tungsten, titanium, and other war-critical materials, when a third ship suddenly appeared out of the mist at 0854. It was the Liberty ship Stephen Hopkins under the command of Captain Paul Buck, returning from her first cargo run from Cape Town to Suriname. Stier opened fire with its 5.9s, but the range was close, and although totally outgunned, Stephen Hopkins' single 4-inch gun scored telling hits before she sank at 10 a.m. Buck and all but 15 of her 57-man crew went with her. Stier had also taken damage. The first hits had disabled the main engine and started fires. With the onboard power system out, the fire mains didn't work and the damage started to spread. 2 hours after Stephen Hopkins had gone down, 2 demolition charges did the job on Stier. Her Arados went with her. That's not quite the last word on the subject, however. Although supposedly cancelled, there is some evidence that one of the Type 11Bs, the original U-112, was in fact completed and retained as a Hitler escape boat. She may have been sunk by US forces based on Enigma intercepts on the 25th of August 1944 off the Grand Banks. Or it might just be another Second World War mystery that will never be solved. The idea of a spotting aircraft for U-boats didn't die with the AR-231. 200 Fokker Achilles FA-300 tethered autogyros were produced and went to sea aboard U-boats. Only one merchant vessel was sunk as a result of their actions. But, in fairness, that is one more than the clever but fatally flawed AR-231.